Deputy Speaker, I rise to speak on this bill, which I support. This bill concerns Veterans Affairs. At the outset, I acknowledge and thank all of our current serving veterans, as well as those who have left the military. Thank you for your service. My electorate of Hughes is proud to house the Holsworthy Military Barracks. It is one of the Australian Army's major footprints within New South Wales and includes many Army and tri-service training institutions, as well as various regular and reserve Army units. And Deputy Speaker, it includes the Special Operations Engineers Regiment, as well as the 1st and 2nd Special Ops Commando Regiments. I was very honoured to witness the Green Berets passing out parade in November of last year. Holsworthy Barracks is also the staging location for domestic operations in New South Wales and covers almost 20,000 hectares of land. And Deputy Speaker, in my electorate of Hughes, the 2021 census identified that I have over 3,640 people that live in my electorate with either current or former ADF service. And again, I thank them, as well as all of our other serving ADF members. These bills are largely uncontroversial, Deputy Speaker. They contain minor amendments ensuring things such as consistency of veteran compensation for medical travel. They ensure and facilitate an annual report on the Repatriation Medical Authority and modernise some of the language that's in older acts, my apologies, and updates references to some superseded acts. And so, Deputy Speaker, I commend these bills, and I do mention that the coalition government did invest over $11.5 billion each year to support the wellbeing of around 340,000 veterans and their families. And I would ask that the current Labor government continue to provide that support to our veterans. We haven't in this country always done it well in acknowledging veterans returning, particularly those who returned from the Vietnam War. And the Coalition also instigated the ongoing Royal Commission into Defence and Veteran Suicide, and I know that the government has started to enact some of those recommendations that have come out of that report. However, under the Labor government, the veterans have lost their voice around the cabinet table, and I just want to commend the member for Riverina, who was a former Veterans Affairs Minister, and the comments that he made about the importance of the Veteran Affairs portfolio being within cabinet. I think that we owe that to our veterans to ensure that they are being provided with adequate support and advocacy at the highest level of government. And so, Deputy Speaker, the bills include largely uncontroversial amendments, but will assist to ensure that we are providing ongoing support to our returned veterans, particularly when they are seeking medical assistance. Deputy Speaker, this year also marks the 50-year anniversary since the end of Australia's involvement in the Vietnam War, and as a nation we have not done enough to acknowledge the service given by our veterans in Vietnam, many of whom were not volunteers. And today it was wonderful to be part of a parliamentary event where we met former Vietnam veterans and their families to thank them for their service and to provide them with the acknowledgement that they so deserve. In my electorate, I've been honoured to meet with many returned Vietnam veterans and their families, and to present them with a certificate of appreciation from the Australian government, and that's also signed by our current Minister for Veterans Affairs, Matt Keogh. And I take this opportunity to mention just some of those with whom I've presented a certificate recently. And these, first of all, I will mention some who served in World War II, and some of them were posthumous. And I mentioned Cecil Eric Doyle, Michael James Foley, Frederick Maurice Doyle, and William Andrew Doyle. They were all serving in World War II. And then serving in Vietnam, George Edward, Kenneth Wood, Mervyn Douglas Nairn, Terence Michael Doyle, Leonard Spencer Vine, and Stephen John Tovey, who served in both Vietnam and Malaysia. And so, Deputy Speaker, to conclude, I commend these bills to the House. I thank all of our currently serving ADF members, as well as those who have returned, and I thank them for their service. Thank you.
Thank you.